So one of my questions, and I feel like I've built this up now, but what I really want to know is, are we done at baby number 4 or is the 5 in the midst?
I was hoping for a boy, to be honest.
Bang.
So you can't put a line through it. But if it kind of sends you to the edge, you got to know it.
He made a
got to know where to play.
He made a comment the other day about, when we build the pool house, Alfie will just have that bedroom and the other baby. I'm like, other baby?
Oh.
So I think you are more into the 5th than me at the moment. I could just never say never.
Yeah.
The thought of me actually culling it and saying, no, I'm actually done. I could never do that. So like Ambrose, I think we'll just leave it open, see how we go, see how the 4-month regression goes in terms of sleep.
Yeah.
And, how busy we are really.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too much and you got to know.
I just said to Ambrose, if we did have another baby, like probably need a nanny by that stage because you feel so bad constantly relying on your family and friends.
Yeah.
And we're so busy at the moment. I'm still working with the baby, 6 weeks old. Never say never. My obstetrician will hate me for saying that.
Yeah.
Never say never.
It's like, I'm back.
Hey, I'm ready.
Yes. So one thing I always find it really interesting and super helpful for our audience as well to understand how people get through really tough times. So Amelia, your father passed away a few years back, and I'm so sorry to hear that firstly. But I mean, that is such a shock. Like losing a parent is they say it's one of the biggest kind of experiences of your life. Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about, I guess, firstly, how that impacted you, and then as a couple, sort of how you worked through that?
It was definitely a shock, and it was totally unexpected. And I had an amazing relationship with my dad. Super close. All our families are really close. Yeah. Definitely a shock to the system. I guess, we had Alfie and Essie at that stage. I didn't have Coco.
Why was it a shock? So how did he pass away?
Oh, he was diagnosed with bowel cancer, but all the bowel cancer was removed and he was just doing prophylactic chemotherapy. And after his last chemo session, and he was so well throughout his treatment, after his last chemo session, he felt unwell like you do with chemo, just the typical chemo symptoms, nauseous, had no appetite. Yeah. I said, we need to call an ambulance. So we called an ambulance for him because one morning he just couldn't get out of bed, and that was not my dad. He'd be at the brekkie table every morning. And then, long story short, admitted to hospital, and they're like, yep, just needs IV fluids for, chemo dehydration. And then I think it was 24 hours later, he had a heart attack in the middle of the night and completely arrested. And then Mum woke up to a phone call at 6 a.m. saying, you need to make your way to hospital. Yeah, your husband's not going to make it. And at that stage, Mum was meant to pick him up that morning to come home. So we got the all clear that, no, he's fine. He just needed some hydration, and then kind of got us off guard, didn't it? And so then, very sad time. So then Ambrose and I, obviously with my family, made our way into the hospital and said our very unexpected goodbyes. It's shit. It's really awful. And I just can't believe that people have to go through this every day, and it's a part of life. But I think I'm a very diplomatic person, and so was my dad. It is what it is. And I think, I'm a believer that if he didn't die that way, obviously you have to make yourself feel better. If he didn't die that way, I feel like his cancer would have come back and it would have been a terrible death for him. So, yeah, I think just it's life. It's terrible. And the hardest, it is. And, I think the hardest part of dad passing away, it's obviously tragic when you lose a parent. It's seeing the other parent have to navigate life without them. That's horrific. But also having another baby. I remember having Coco and being like, oh my God, I'm going to give birth. My dad was always our first visitor with Mum and, his parents. And I'm like, he's not going to walk in that door and meet this baby. But, she came at the right time, Coco. And I think, I take it as she was such a blessing from him.
How soon after did you have Coco?
I'm trying to think, how long after? 2 years, I think, later, we conceived Coco, because Coco would have, Essie would have been nearly 2. Yeah. So 18 months or 2 years later, we conceived Coco, and then, she was born and definitely lifted the spirits, It's one door closes, another opens, as people say. And, I think having a baby just brings so much love and joy to everybody. Yeah.
How did, I guess, as you're grieving and things like that, what was that like, Ambrose, for you? Like, how, and again, for those listening who might be in the situation, like, were there things that you felt you did that was really supportive from your perspective? What did that look like in your family?
Yeah, I could see how sad Amelia was. So it was it was a bit just like distressing, obviously.
Yeah.
And like seeing your partner see. So,
I feel like I'd handled it.
she did have
Yeah.
but it's just an adjustment, I suppose, isn't it? Like life's never the same after kind of losing like a parent, I would imagine. But you just got to put your shoes on and get on with it.
Push on for the kids.
Yeah.
Sit there and cry all day, and it's very
strong.
Yeah, I remember Ambrose saying, "Your dad just died. Like, what's wrong with you? You should be more upset." I'm like, I am. You've got to just push on, and that's what he would have wanted.
Yeah. Did it come back, with it, it never leaves you, right? So was it down the track you find that you're still grieving, in the most unexpected way, or did you sort of...
I miss him a lot now. I miss him when we built this house. He would have loved to have been a part of this. He would have loved the old house that we had that we transformed. He was like a real tinkerer, so he would have loved helping Ambrose, to shovel the house and then seeing the progress. He was a big pool guy, so, he would have loved to have seen the development of our pool. Get a really good relationship with Ambrose. So, it's all little things like that. I'm like, oh, God, I wish I could have shown Dad that. Or I would call Dad for everything. Like, we've got a tradie here now. And my dad would have been able to just do that for us.
Yeah.
But,
It's life.
It's life.
It's crazy. How was it, speaking of your beautiful house that we're sitting in right now? So what was that like, I guess, building? Did you tear down and build, or did you reno, or what did you do?
Renovation. So it had a big old house, big footprint.
Yeah.
We pretty much stripped it back to like no roof, no second level. So it's pretty much starting again.
Yeah.
Just probably the piers and the beams, just anything. So so it's kind of unrecognisable, but there was like a lot of as I said, the footprint was good and we kind of worked around that. So long process, moved out, and a lot of pain.
I was going to say,
emotional pain.
Oh my God. It was
financial pain.
a lot of financial pain, but
But no, we're happy. It was always also making decisions. I didn't want to I knew the dust settles, you move in, you go, I should have done that, should have done that. Didn't want to do that. So it was like making hard decisions where once the dust settles, you're in, you kind of
we really
know regrets.
really stretched ourselves. But
that's all.
That was the shittest, for our relationship. I couldn't even talk to him because he was just stress levels through the roof.
because you've got
3.
But it's pretty stressful, but that's all.
We do it again.
That's all.
Yeah.
We're not opposed to risk.
Ambrose
So it's all.
Ambrose does his best work under pressure. So he thrives on pressure. It was, it's annoying moving out, but it's worth it. Worth it.
For sure. Because you 10 months, you blink and a year goes by, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just gotta grit your teeth.
So it was about a year to get it all done. Yeah.
We were just lucky we had a builder that had the manpower to turn it over quickly.
Yeah.
I'm so impatient. So I was like, can we have it done yesterday? And he's like, cool. Ambrose like, it doesn't work like that. So this build did teach me a lot of patience.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, I ask as well because I feel like half the time you're sitting at a kid's birthday party and everyone's either talking about, oh, should we knock over and build out, or redo where we stay where we are because if we want to move further into the city, it's just too, or should we reno it? Or actually, because everyone's talking about property. So I guess you said worst year or one of the toughest years of your life, right? What did it look like behind closed doors? Because for those listening who might want to venture into this, give them a heads up. Like, what happened?
They don't say the third most stressful thing to do was move out.
Yeah.
Move out.
Do that?
And then everything was demolished, so there's nowhere to put anything. Yeah. We knew we were coming back here. So soul destroying the move and then knowing that it wasn't going to be for very long, you know what I mean?
Do you move you to a rental nearby or something like that? Yeah, okay.
It was close to my parents and also the school.
So okay. That's benefit.
It was good for about 30 seconds.
And then we were well and truly ready to move back in. But Ambrose really enjoyed the process. Me not so much. Yeah. I mean, I love choosing all the finishes.
Yeah.
With my sister, who's an interior designer, and Ambrose he's very good at project management and,
But I think most people don't understand,
how hard it is.
The layman doesn't understand how it works. So everything goes over time and over budget. Yeah. So it's something, if you're not aware of that, it makes it mega stressful. Amelia was pregnant at the same time. So
that was
going to be done. But it was, we lived back kind of where I grew up. So there was kind of a bit of reconnection there. And it was,
I think
he's at capacity.
You love property though. So I think this will be.
But I like it.
Okay.
We'd like to do it again.
Yeah. So one of the hardest things is obviously relocating, managing the kids, managing the different schedules, trying to run businesses, trying to be here, I guess, to make decisions as well. Like, what are the
Yeah, like you had fleet. You need to like be hands-on. You can't be at work working 40 hours a week. Yeah. There's commonly there's things to do. You got to speak to say council or something like that, or come and meet like on site. Otherwise, it won't get done.
Ambrose really made it his mission.
So yeah, it's kind of, you need someone who's not working really.
Well, that's
like,
right.
I'm not as kind of.
Well, you really made it your mission to say, by the time we build, I want to be at home. And it was like he was able to be working from home flexible. So you could be here.
Well, yeah. So it takes effort just to kind of, even if you're not building it.
Yeah, just to manage it, 100%.
You're right.
Because it's like hundreds of decisions.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah. And if you're at work, it's like fast time.
People would bring me and I'd be like, Ambrose, can you go meet the builder? I don't know anything. And he'd be like, yeah, we're there in 5.
So this is the thing. So big decisions, and I think it's probably maybe it's our age group, and also a lot of our audience have younger children. So it's that point of like, before they hit primary school, do we want to, know where we're going to live, or, what are we going to do for the high school? And, just things like that, where you're always thinking about the next step for the family. And I'm actually currently moving at the moment, and it is just a disaster. And we're literally only doing some aesthetic work, like a bit of a paint job, very minor things to the house, bit of a facelift. And I'm literally pulling my hair out because, to your point, like they're like, can you be here now? Because we want to just double check this or whatever. Yeah. I'm like, wow, like this is a lot. Yeah. I thought we're just painting the bloody house and then we were done. Like, why do you need
I think the best advice would be move out, because I was like, I want to stay here. Ambrose like, we cannot stay here.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's just, you're right, move out, get it all done and dusted.
Yeah.
Much easier.
So much, so many, different things, I guess, to think about. Big time, big time.
It's all kind of like playing the long game, time goes quick, and if you kind of moving forward with something, and you stay committed, don't get up.
It's pretty much selling yourself for the next 50 years.
That's it, really.
Just drink your way through all your
exactly. Wine is key. So how do you come to make these big decisions? Because again, you guys have a lot going on. At what point did you both say, that makes sense for us to let's, gut the place, let's, or how are you making your big decisions? Are they just
in it for a while and then kind of sized up what we wanted to do and kind of
it's not the first thing we've done.
Yeah, we've done like other kind of projects and stuff.
Small line,
Okay, renovations. So it was always in the pipeline.
It was very old now.
Yeah.
Like, so, and then things just started breaking, like falling apart, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you was like, I remember the heat, like we had hydronic heating. And then I remember like in my office, there's like just a spray of water coming out. And I was like, that's got to be turned off. And next thing you know,
that's not safe, were we?
We couldn't turn that on. We're going to replace it.
So
getting around in a duffel coat and a beach. You could just
we literally had this shitty ass heater that cost us a fortune and only heated 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters. And I was like, Ambrose, please, like can I just put in a temporary? He's like, where are we?
Yeah.
We are beanies and jackets for the next 6 months. I'm like, so things like that's torture. So be prepared.
Yeah.
Nothing ever goes to
No, love it. Oh gosh, you guys are, I feel very, you guys are very aspirational in that you are really following your passions with what you love doing. You've got the family values, you're working hard as a couple, and all of the great things. So I just want to thank you so much for sort of spending the time to talk to us today. And I guess I'd love to know, like, what is next for both of you? I mean, what's in the pipeline?
So Midwife has got a few business ideas, so she can come off.
Yeah, I've always got 1,000 things in my mind that I want to, make come to life.
Ideas woman.
Yeah, I'm an ideas woman, and I act on things pretty quickly. I've had this, we've had this business in the back of, production for a couple of years now called Mother Suckers, and I've spoken about it briefly on my Instagram over the years, and I'm like, it's just, you got to go in all or nothing. So we've been working behind the scenes on that. So that should be launching later this year, which is basically going to help every single female in this world. It's an excellent product. And then on top of that, obviously finishing my book. Yes. That's a really big priority of mine. Yeah.
When's that? Do we know? Like, well, how do books work?
The first half of this year we're aiming for. I'm pushing flat out.
Okay.
Yeah, we want to publish the first half of this.
Wow. Okay.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm trying to meet a deadline. They're being very flexible with me. They're amazing to work with.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's lovely writing as I'm going through it because I'm talking exactly how I'm feeling and there's no sugarcoating anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the book, The Mother Suckers, probably more property stuff. Who knows?
Oh my gosh, it's honestly amazing. Can you give us a glimpse on like exact sum on the book, or is it all mystery at this point?
No, I can delve into some of it. It's basically heavily based on the fourth trimester, which is so unspoken of. You know, as a midwife, a mum, and a sleep consultant, I talk about this regularly on my socials, and I deal with it in my business. And I'm actually talking about the realities of what to expect after you have your baby. Because as you know, there's birthing classes, there's breastfeeding classes, there's nothing to prepare you when you come home with your baby and how your relationship changes, the family dynamics change, everything changes. And I'm so passionate about mental health. And I think we have such high postnatal depression rates, postnatal anxiety. And I think a lot of it is to do with the fourth trimester and the lack of support we have. And you know, sleep is such a huge factor in every part of our life, whether you are having a baby or pregnant or not, or you've got a child. Sleep is an essential, and we have a very successful sleep business, which is one of our major focuses, and that'll be growing as well this year. But a lot of the book will be heavily based on that.
It's amazing. So
the importance of it.
It's amazing. So more, is it personal stories? Is it tips?
It's both. It's both.
Yeah.
It's me talking now as it is, and then talking about, you know, other people's experiences and my suggestions on how to ease through it much, you know, more smoothly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of everything.
Yeah.
You'll love it. It's how I talk on my socials.
Yeah.
Fuck me dead this
Yeah.
Yeah, in case a good pick out, I'm not like.
I said to to Penguin Books, I said to them, are you sure you want me to write this? Because I don't mean to swear, but it's, you know, and they're like, no, we want you to be you. There's a lot of hating on Ambrose. No, it's not. There's talks about, you know, the turbulence that you know, your relationship experiences and life as it is.
Important to talk about, which is the premise of the podcast as well. Like the more you hear other people's experiences, the more you're like, oh, okay, so that's normal, you know.
I know, because social media, you know, look at all these influencers and you're like, oh, wow, he's super dad. Oh, isn't he this, isn't he that? And it's so not like
Absolutely. It's interesting you said it, because even when, you know, watching a lot of your content, Amelia, you're so honest and so raw, and I think that's what grabs your attention, particularly our attention of your content, because it's just like you're speaking direct to me, and you're not trying to put on a persona or try to, you know, you don't have the sparkly kitchen behind you and you're doing your pose. Like, it's not like that.
I know, everyone's like, can you post photos of your beautiful in your house? I'm like, I can't. It's so dirty. I've got shit on the floor. And they're like, but I want to see that. I'm like, no. There's actually a lot more I wish I would love to share on social media, and there's so many things I want to say. I'm like, I can't say that. I'll probably lose 500 followers after saying that, because they'll say that I'm being triggering or over the top, or you know.
So you are mindful, are you? Like,
have to be.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, go through the I don't give a fuck stage. Like, if you don't like it, well then you can tune out.
Yeah, I think you have to get there, particularly with the bigger your audience, the more the trolls that will come, right? Like, it's just naturally.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah,
it's fun.
But I think, to your point, that makes sense that the book would be such an accurate reflection of the raw kind of, you know,
doing a
real person.
Now I feel like every time is so different, and that's a thing. When you have a baby, everyone just assumes it gets easier and easier. That's not necessarily the case.
Yeah.
And you know, I do want to say that in the book, I talk about like a lot of not the negatives of motherhood, but just how hard it is. There's also joyous moments, of course. Otherwise, why would we keep going back?
Yeah.
But I'm very honest in how hard and challenging the fourth trimester is.
Yeah, I cannot wait to read it. Well, I'm saying congratulations already, but I'll say it again, right, for a lesson.
Yes.
Awesome.
Stay tuned.
Can't wait. Thanks so much again, guys, for your time.
Thanks for having us.
Been fun.